Mr. Hartness?
Present.
Mrs. Shoemaker? Mr. Bono?
Present.
Mrs. Corzine? Mr. Mullins?
Present. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast live. Now for our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Valentine, could you make an introduction?
Good evening. I do have the pledge.
Hey, what's that one?
Warm Twilight Zone. All right, I will go ahead without it.
Good choice. Good choice.
I will go ahead and introduce Oscar Mikas. If Oscar, you come up, he's going to be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. He has an introduction that him and Ms. Volkerson have come up with, so I don't want to rain on their parade. But Oscar will be the new student liaison to the Board of Education, so we will be welcoming him this evening, but he will start by leading us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, we have our board agenda in front of you with a couple of addendum items, and I would like to add one addendum item to this list. Board action after the legislative update, the appointment of 2 people to the Parks and Rec Board. So with that, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I mean, move.
Moved by Mr. Bonner, second by Mrs. Corzine. Roll.
Yes. Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
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 Recognitions and presentations.
All righty. So first of all, it's School Board Member Recognition Month. So we'd like to thank you for your dedication to our students and to all the support that you give into making sure that we have the best facilities, extracurricular activities, and education available to all of our students. So we have a little certificate to recognize you with.
What we all need for that. For us, we need tax money. A nice big star.
We'll take that star.
Because we've done our work.
Yeah, we have.
We've done our work. And I expect the rest of you to see that.
Thank you. But you do put in countless hours, and we really, really do appreciate it. So take a second here and give out those certificates. Yes. We're going to have you just go around to White House. She doesn't have to get up and get a good picture. So, Mr. Mullins, Board President. Mr. Hartness, Vice President. Mr. Bonner. And Mrs. Corzine. And Mrs. Shoemaker.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over here.
You guys.
Your stuff, girls.
Thanks, Barb. All right, again, thank you very much. Okay. Master teacher next. Yeah, you might come up here, Steve. year we have, one new teacher who has completed all the requirements of the master teacher. And then we have one who is new. And, head up. And Lori Dayton. And then next, I've asked Miss Putnam to give us an update on curriculum. As you know, we are trying to address some of our issues with our report card. And I'm going to ask her to give us an update on where we are with that.
Actually, I've asked Dave to come with us today. She's got something to hand out to all these to look at, but a few updates before we get into that. We do have some exciting things that are happening in the department that I just want to give you a quick update on. We are looking at creating some capstone projects. We've been talking about it in multiple places, 7th high school, but we're actually, I think at this point, landed on grade 6, creating a capstone project or a pilot program with that team, kind of a finalizing elementary school project that we can do with all schools. We're really excited about it. We haven't worked out all the details yet, but that 6th grade team is, they work really well together, and I think we're going to do this a great asset in kind of determining what that's going to look like for our 6th grade. So we're excited about that piece. We also have in our 7-12 building, we've had some teachers that have come to us with just excitement and concerns and a willingness to try something new in their classroom. And if any of you are interested, I might ask you to kind of be a part of this process. They would like to present some proposals of how they want to teach, how they want to change kind of what the district is requiring of them in some of their classrooms, how they incorporate project-based learning, how they do things a little bit differently than we've been doing in the past, why they think this is a good idea, and really we've asked them to present it to us. We're going to take a look at it, take a look at their proposals or their syllabus and their ideas in the classroom, and hopefully through next year try some new things in some places where we have just some really gifted educators who are really excited about teaching kids and helping kids grow. So if that's something you're interested in being part of, please let me know. We'll probably get started with those sometime in February. But it's just an exciting piece of our teachers just being professionals, reaching out and wanting to really do something great with kids. So really excited about that. Our K-3 literacy, just an update on that. You know, we've been working on that over the last year. That's something we've chosen to focus on. And we have been working with High State University, a literacy collaborative program. We've had a lot of professional development so far. I don't know how many days ago, but it's been quite a bit. We have a lot more upcoming. Many teachers have been trained in multiple areas of literacy. That continues for the rest of this year and into next year as well. Our next steps with that, we're actually looking at hiring literacy coaches in some of our current positions. So we are putting together what that's going to look like and still working with High State on their requirements of being part of their collaborative and what they need in each building in order to ensure that we can roll out the literacy collaborative framework effectively with our staff. So that's an exciting piece. We'll be seeing more of that in the next couple of months as well. Tonight, we're going to kind of talk about what we're looking at, particularly in K-3 curriculum. As we've been going through this literacy discussion, we have come across lots of different issues, and teachers have been very honest in kind of what they think about what we're currently doing as far as instruction goes. And multiple years ago, actually before I came, the last reading adoption that we had, there was call it a unit-focused curriculum put in place. It didn't last very long. Teachers did not feel like that was really what they needed to do as far as literacy instruction goes. That was changed later, and we're kind of back to that point again. I think because we have finally come together, and I think it worked a little bit better, maybe when we were separated in different buildings, and it was a little easier for the kindergarten teacher to know, well, this classroom next year, not for that first grade teacher isolated in that building. But what we have found over the last year is that consistency is not the same across all of our teaching staff. So we are constantly asking for more consistency in the curriculum. I had teachers asking for other resources, more resources, different resources. We've had lots of conversations about pacing and scope of sequence for the literacy curriculum. And I think literacy collaborative, and that is going to help us with that framework piece, but I really need to think bigger. We've had lots of conversations through STEM, which is one of my things here tonight, and how we are putting that whole picture of what we are teaching our students together. And so what we hand out to you is an example of where we'd like to go with curriculum in K through 3. This is basically a scope and sequence of curriculum map. There's a lot of different names for this. This is just an example, of course, but it is a STEM-focused, multidisciplinary curriculum. And you can see on your sheet that this includes all areas of learning that our students in K through 3 will be involved in. Vina's going to point out some particular features of this, particularly that band across the top and why we're calling this a STEM-focused multidisciplinary. I don't want you to think that means STEM every day, all day, because that's not what it means. You can see that literacy takes up half of this page because that is still our most important piece in K2 and K3 education. But Dana is going to point out some of the important aspects that we are putting together with this curriculum sequence. So,
all right, so as Alyssa mentioned, having a STEM-based curriculum does not necessarily mean doing nothing but science, technology, engineering, and math. But part of the STEM designation process is demonstrating how STEM thrives, is the language out of the rubric. And so when we're looking at this, what we're looking at in K, actually through 6, is that the instructors, the teaching staff, is making connections between the disciplines. For students, we are pointing out how you use math and science. How does your ability to read help you to discover things that go with your science curriculum? And so this is set up as an example of a first grade mid-year unit. This is what it would look like. All STEM units are driven by an investigative question. Right now, first grade, our investigative question is, why are MINTEs important? And so you see that question is up at the top. That means that every teacher working off of this document, whether you are teaching PE, or you are in a general ed classroom, or you are working with the students in tech, you know what question the students are investigating at this point. As Alyssa mentioned, there's a huge block, the largest block is dedicated to literacy. This format allows us to literally highlight which activities support the STEM driving question. When it's live, the links, you can click on anything that is underlined, and it will take you directly to the lesson plans. So this would be digital. Very much if you think about series they come with, this is what you do day 1. This is set up more with a 2-week focus. It allows us to accommodate things like our Muddy Boots and Backpacks trips or other expeditions that we are going on. If you look over at the math section, both the literacy and the math, it can be set up so you can click on the link and it will take you directly to the model curriculum for the state of Ohio. You can also very easily, for differentiation, if you look down and it says this cluster is connected to, you can click on that and that will also take you to a grade level above and a grade level below. And we'll be able to put that in for both literacy and for math. If you look at science, the reality of elementary schools is sure there's not a science class in the early elementary. So this is integrated throughout the day and throughout the week. And if you look under there, we've included what the standard is and what we're focusing on. The highlighted green space there, if you were to click on that, that would take you to a place where you could sign up. During this unit, our STEM facilitator would be taking the students on school habitat exploration. So right in this document, you'd be able, as a classroom teacher, to click on that, go in and sign up for time, meet your schedule, and the plans that you have made for those 2 weeks. If you look on down, there are state standards in engineering and technology. Sometimes those can be overlooked by our focus on literacy, but they are so very important. So by doing this, we can look at the students' experience for the whole 2 weeks and make sure that they really are getting a well-rounded exposure to all of the standards. Once again, you can click on that. So even if you weren't teaching tech, you could click on that and you would know what your students are doing in tech. We could add in music, art, and PE. We can also put in parent connections, community involvement days. We can make this a one-stop shop, basically, for instruction for the students.
One of the issues that we've run through with teachers is really just how do you put it all together? How do you put it all together? We have all these requirements that we have to do. This is our answer to try to make that easier for classroom teachers. And truly, STEM is the lens in which that is capable of being done. Since the capability is a STEM business in the building, a lot of these things are already in place. So if you're having questions about something we made up, that's actually what they're doing in first grade and investigate right now. So we can utilize the work that's already in place in order to really make connections across all of the different areas. We don't have an example of here in music art, but so often we don't include those people in what's going on with everything else. So this is our opportunity to do that and really just enhance the learning experience for our kids, throughout the entire building. We're focusing on K-3 right now. You can see we have a new in there. We have some ideas for including the Pax for the K-3 game, our assessments, that we really wanted to have a section on, okay, every 2 weeks, what really is our parent focus? What really is our community focus this week? Because that's an important piece to what we're doing, making sure our students stay connected to the community. We are hoping to pilot this with kindergarten the last 9 weeks. We get some feedback from those teachers of what they like, what they don't like, what do they need more of, what they need less of. And our hope is K-3 then go to the start of the school year. We would like to continue with the work with K-6. That's a hefty goal, probably get that done by the start of next school year. But I will say the teachers we have put this out to are very excited and have offered to come and help with putting it all together. I have multiple offers of that. So we may get farther along than we think we will by August. We're excited about it so far. It goes a long way with our STEM designation.
So Alyssa, this would provide consistency across the grade levels.
So, yeah, basically, this is going to provide you the must-do things that must happen in kindergarten during these 2 weeks. These are things that have to occur based on our curriculum decisions for the district and kindergarten in these 2 weeks. It also includes can-do things that you can do with students if this is applicable for your class and your makeup of students and what you need to absolutely.
And one of the sections that we talked about that I don't think they've had time to get through though is having another section here that provides for differentiated instruction, because we know that not all of our kids are performing at the same level. So there'll be some lower performing and some gifted links in here for instruction or resources.
Yeah, and thanks to our ability to Google and all the tools that are offered there, we literally have to click with a button, and teachers can utilize that, and we can update this constantly as we go throughout the school year. Okay, this work, this work, this is a really great another example to accomplish this standard. So we're excited about being able to do that.
And my plan is to, once this is completed, bring it to you to adopt as the district's curriculum. So we're very clear with our staff on this is what the district curriculum is, board approved, and this is what we're doing. So we can clear up that confusion about what are we doing or we don't have the
Yeah, we
resources.
hopefully will have some good feedback from kindergarten at that time. Just even in format doesn't work for those types of things.
through this process, does this give Joe the tools also to work with to kind of supervise what's going on with these teachers and programs?
Absolutely, it's a balance between, giving what we need and also the accountability to make sure it happens. So we're hopeful that this is really very clear to everyone, teachers, even students or parents and administration, that this is the must-do things you should be seeing in the classroom, weeks 13, 14, and literacy. All of this should happen in every kindergarten classroom. And here are the other things that you might see. So absolutely.
Well, I appreciate all the work they're putting into this. This is a lot of work to do.
Oh, it is. It
And
is.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to really help us, address our students' deficits. Between that and literacy collaborative, I feel like that these are huge steps towards trying to address those issues. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
At this time, let's take about 10 minutes for there's refreshments back there. So everyone dig in and help yourself. Okay, we're back in session. I'd like to welcome all the visitors to the meeting. If anyone would like to address the board, please come up to the podium. Seeing no one, we'll move on to the final student liaison report for Ms. Fulkerson. Soph.
All right, so tonight I'm sharing it with Oscar. This is Oscar
Okay.
Micus, and I'll let him introduce himself a little bit.
Hi, my name's Oscar Micus. I'm taking over for Sophie. I'm a junior at CHS. I run cross country and track. I'm a current Life Scout and Boy Scout Troop 14. I'm currently working on my Eagle Scout rank. Part of that I've already done my Eagle Scout project, and I built little free library boxes, which you'll see going up pretty soon. And I'm excited to be taking over for Sophie. So.
Welcome aboard, Oscar.
Okay, so tonight we are kind of going to do a little bit about each school, except for the preschool this month. But I'm sure Oscar will get a hold of Mrs. Swansing soon. But so STEM at the primary is the first thing we're going to talk about. So STEM has been focused a lot on writing instruction at that school. They developed gradual release writing for each classroom and for the units based on activities off of literature. For this month, the voice groups that Mrs. Charlton runs are being tech oriented. So there's a podcast group running right now, as well as new green screens, robots, and virtual reality groups. So lots of technology. And they just had their first Innovators Breakfast, which was awarded to 40 students for outstanding STEM work. The requirements were that you had to be in kindergarten through second grade, you had to receive the Principal's Choice Awards, and you had to complete your monthly maker mats at home. So lots of good STEM activity at the primary school. Another thing about the district is that all CCSD schools were deep cleaned. I think Mrs. Swinehart had a huge say in that because of the because of the good old germs that are going around. So we're pretty clean. So that's good news.
Also at the primary school, they're working on it's called the Pax Program. It's to work on student behavior. For the next 10 weeks, they'll be introducing a new learning idea each week. Every teacher has a harmonica to get the attention of students, and this is to not trigger a negative response from any students that have had a traumatic experience. Kind of along with this, there's a behavior team there, and these people can go into the classroom and take over for a teacher if they are working with a student, or they can work with that student if they're having any problems. Also, the 100th day of school is coming up next week, so they have 100-based projects, activities, and games planned.
Another thing that's cool is that just as the high school just received Rosie from Mrs. Hawthorne, we have George, the therapy dog, coming to the primary school. He has to take a couple more classes, and then those kids will get to play with him. So that's a good opportunity for them. I have 2 positive teacher reflections from Mrs. Strauser. And so one is she said that Mrs. Robertson in the 2nd grade has been teaching the social and emotional learning standards to help students understand their reactions to situations. So attacking that young is a great thing, and she's doing a great job. To get to her. And then another one is Mrs. Holm has been doing a great job with her art classes, demanding that expectations are met. Since she sees all students, she's really good at cooperating and making sure all students are on the same page. So a great job to her as well. In addition to that, she says that behavior is headed in a complete positive direction. So that's great news. And we've seen growth throughout the school year. And a big part of that is that they've been doing kinesthetic kind of trying to eliminate behavior. So when students are acting up, they have toys in place, puzzles, and sensory rooms. They're not toys, but they're just to help calm students down. And that's a good way they've attacked behavior. So just good sensory projects going on there. So
The intermediate school has been working very hard at STEM programs. They have partnerships with the Ross County Historical Society, Kenworth, and Battelle. With all these partnerships, STEM is making big leaps. There's also a feeling of just everyone's in a good groove at the intermediate school, teachers and students. In addition, they're working on getting outside furniture for the recess area. And then to do with art, they have a kiln now. So the students are working on ceramics and art classes.
Okay, so two more. Mr. Tripp gave us some teachers that are doing solid work. Mrs. I believe I think it's Pilchek. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but she was all over Facebook a couple weeks ago. A parent shouted her out because she was doing every day after school, she was giving every student in her class a hug. And I think that's a big deal. So that was a positive thing on Facebook, which is really needed. Mr. Tripp said for the intermediate school. So I was glad to hear about that. And I think that's super important. And in reference to that, today, Oscar and I, we procrastinated and we came on the last day that we could, but that's okay, right? So we came today and we met with Mr. Maybrier, the art teacher, and it was right when school was releasing, and I saw a little boy. He was coming out and he ran from like yards away, and he said, Mr. May, Mr. May. And he came over and just gave him a hug that was just like, you know, when a kid says, I need this hug today. And that's what I read out of that. And Mr. May just gave him a really big hug, and it was kind of like a fatherly hug to me. And I just thought that was super special because that's the role that teachers play in lives. And I think that was just a beautiful way for me to end this little career as the liaison, to see that. I was like, I really appreciate what teachers do, and I thought that was really special. So 2 great teacher shout outs there for the intermediate building.
The high school and the middle school both went snow tubing recently. 450 students attended for between both the schools. The requirements for that is you had to have no disciplinary actions and good attendance. Beyond that 450 number, the high school had 650 eligible, and the middle school had 270 eligible.
So that is a lot. Those numbers are big, so that's really good behavior. We also had the high school and middle school participated in Mental Health Day, which was completely student ran and operated by the Social Justice Action Team, which it was a great event. Lizzie Miller and Allison Gozy are 2 high schoolers, and they led that completely. It was amazing. We had a guest speaker, and we learned that I think the main incentive of the event was to know that it's okay to feel and talk about your emotions. And in a high school and especially middle school setting, it's super important. So that was a great day and a great opportunity for us high schoolers. One last thing about the high school and middle school and the district in general is, as you all know, Homeland Credit Union bought the Racket Club, or helped with the Racket Club. I'm not completely sure. But Oscar and I just wanted to share, for me personally, I love the Racket Club. I'm there almost every day working out. And so if it's helping me, it's helping everybody that's using it with fitness and, you know, even like mentally. And it's just great to be able to have a place to work out like that for free. So.
Having the racquetball club is also helping the track team, because Coach Strong is holding practices in the racquetball club when it's too cold to practice outside. So it's really nice to have. So in sports news, for the high school swim team has been having a very successful season. This upcoming Wednesday is their league meet, and they expect both the boys team and the girls team to win. Our boys basketball team is currently 13-3, and they're leading the FAC. And bowling is in the 3rd in the FAC. They've been competing in some tough tournament recently, but they're doing good.
To finish up, I'm going to talk about music. So the choir, band, and orchestra, both middle school and high school, competed in solo and ensemble competitions this weekend. And our music department, Mr. Watts, Mrs. Carpenter, Mrs. Kennard are killing it. We had 22 CHS students that earned top level ranking, which are 1s in solo divisions. What that means, 22 students did amazing. Okay, so that's really good. And 6 of the ensembles that went, so if you're not musical, 6 groups that performed together also earned 1s as their ranking. And so that's super good. So a big shout out to the music department. And that's all that Oscar and I have prepared. I actually wrote like a little letter, you know, just to say thank you. I'm going to read it out loud and then I'll give it to you. But this is just for me to say thank you. Dear CCSD administrators and board members, first of all, thank you. You'll never know how grateful I am for the opportunity to have served as the student liaison to the CCSD Board of Education, and the great privilege that it has been to get to know each and every one of you. When I was in the 6th grade, I remember Per Peterson, the student liaison coming to me and asking questions about my school and why I loved attending Allen Elementary. He asked me about the 7 habits and what it meant to be a Cavalier. Later in the conversation, I remember him asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. As most kids would have said doctor or astronaut, I said the student liaison, and it's very true. All through middle school, I loved hopping on YouTube and watching Matt Benson and Gabby LaPerga speak each month. When I was in high school, I always stayed to listen to Barry Warfield and hear what he was sharing about. As nerdy or as goofy as it may sound, this role has been a childhood dream of mine, and I can finally say that 6th grade Sophie has a right to be proud. There are many titles that I hold in this life. I'm a daughter and a friend, a student and an athlete, but I can confidently admit that my most proud and honorable role is to be called a Chillicothe Cavalier. My passion for the school district extends far beyond what I could ever share with you at these board meetings. Perhaps I am biased, but there's no other school district that I could ever imagine sending my future children to. Chillicothe is blessed with teachers who give their entire world to bettering our students, administrators who donate countless hours, and a community that has given endless support to our students. Not every town of our size is able to make a big place seem so small, and that's exactly how I would define our school: large in size, but close in heart. Thank you for the time and effort that you put into making our school the best that it can possibly be. Without your dedication and passion for youth, our school district would look a lot differently. Forming relationships with all of you has been an honor, and I will miss Monday evenings dearly, especially the cookies during the break.
You can slide in.
Yeah. So far this year, I have had to say so many goodbyes. From playing my last volleyball game to my last homecoming dance, and to the upcoming graduation ceremony, there's a lot of emotions. But I can honestly say that tonight has hit me in a very emotional way, because I'm saying goodbye to a leadership role that I am most proud of. With that, I thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that I have been able to make a big of a difference in your lives as you have in mine. So, and then at the end, it says, I'll see you at graduation on the stage before you know it. Thank you.
So I think it was 6th grade Sophie is who I first met when here in the auditorium on the opening convocation day, she stood up in front of a auditorium full of administrators, teachers, and staff and introduced me before I spoke. And that was the first time I met Sophie, and I've known her ever since then. The student liaison position was just made for her. She each year, you know, she mentioned Pear and Matthew and Gabby and the ones we've had. Each year that one leaves, I think, well, that no one's going to be able to top that. But Sophie did. You know, with the videos that she took the time to make at all the buildings and talking to kids and teachers. She has really embraced this role and created a whole new path for it. And Oscar, you got your work cut out for you. Okay. So we're looking forward to it. But Sophie, thank you for everything you've done. We are so proud that you're a Cavalier. Your future is going to be incredible, and we can't wait to watch it.
Thank you.
Legislative update. I can give a quick, the Ed Choice Voucher Program, there's no fix yet. Most in the legislature appear to realize there needs to be a fix, but it's not there yet. So time is of the essence. I think they have to have it done here in the next few weeks, if I'm not. So the next week then.
Yeah.
So thought there was a couple weeks. So unfortunately with Cup Patterson financing, that's kind of been with Ed Choice. Cup Patterson's been put on the back burner, so there's nothing new on that. So hopefully we get some better news and a fix is put in place for this Ed Choice. So now appointments to the Chillicothe Parks and Recs Board. I would like to recommend that we appoint Newt Bonner, and I'll just know what you didn't want to do it again, Jeff. Okay, and myself onto it. If Bill will put up with Newt and I.
Yeah, I certainly will second that. But before that, I just, I thank Mr. Hartmus. We kind of intertwine here in our duties. I've been fortunate enough to be Parks and Rec Director for about 4 years now. He's been on the board all 4 years that I've been Parks and Recreation Director, and certainly he's done a great job, very dedicated. another one of those thankless jobs that he just gets paid a ton for. So, but yeah, that is very appreciative of the effort he's given for us. And I think we can say the last 4 years, we've done some pretty nice thing in the parks, and he and that board are very, very much responsible for it. So thank you for all your support and work.
Yeah, appreciate it. So I entertain. No, he didn't want to do it. I'll do it until I can find someone else.
Okay, all
Okay. So I entertain a motion for those, please.
Yes, I make that motion for.
Moved by Mr. Bonner,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Hartmus. Roll. Abstain.
Yes.
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 All right, thank you. Treasurer's report.
I'd like to ask the board to approve A through E.
I will make that motion. Second by Mrs. Corzine. Roll.
Yes. Mr. Mullins?
Yes.
Mr. Hartnett?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Anything else, Deb? Thank you very much. Superintendent recommendations.
Okay, I'd like to ask for approval A through E, and I have also made a change under E9 subs. And go straight through Misty Strasbaugh for now.
E9 Misty. Oh, okay. Sure. Gotcha.
Bus sub aide and sub bus driver.
Gotcha.
On your B line, Deb, and I think I mentioned it to you before, but policy BDDB,
Mhm.
Can we get a longer, I believe it said 48 hours.
Not less than 48
Yeah, not
hours.
less than 48. Can we get a little longer to read things in than that? Because sometimes they do get posted rather short notice. And some things,
Yeah,
yeah, just as a comment on that.
yep, no problem.
Yes.
It wasn't attached to the hard drive.
I didn't see it either. No.
It wasn't on
No.
the B drive at all.
I was in it last night, so I'll send you guys a copy.
Okay.
I'll send an email. to
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hartmus,
Second.
second by Mr. Bonner. Roll.
Mr. Hartnett?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Mr. Mullins?
Yes. Do we have anyone here who we just hired or?
Yes.
Would you-
Miss
could you introduce us?
Ellie Marie. You'd like to stand up there? She is the person we put in to replace Mr. Hayden.
Welcome to the district. Okay. Anything else, Deb? Discussion
No,
items or?
Thank you.
Okay, board member comments. I'll just start real quick. First off, as Sophie mentioned, we had our signing with Homeland Credit Union. Thank you very much to Homeland. Mr. Hartmus and Mrs. Corzine were in attendance at it. Thank you. They've just been so generous to us, and the plans are looking very good. And hopefully here in the next few weeks, we'll be ready to show everyone what they look like and get board approval for them. We are talking to other groups about potential donations, so we may not be done yet. So, our goal is to get as much of this done through donations that we can. So, but, Homeland just really stepped up. We really thank them. And there was a mention of Pax and the good behavior gang. That's what Jeff brought us, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Judge
so
Benson.
this program is being paid for by a grant from former school board member, Judge Benson. He reached out to me about a year ago, and I put him in touch with Debbie, and he was really fond of it and thinks it's really going to help the district. And so far, all the administrators and teachers really love the program and think it's going to be a big boon to us. So we really want to thank Judge Benson for getting this set up for us and paid for. So
He also has committed to trying to get the funding in place to provide it at the 3-6 next year
that's
also,
fantastic.
which I really, really appreciate.
And yep, thank you very much to Judge Benson. So any other comments? Okay, Liz?
I would like to request that we revisit our cell phone policy. And when I talk about cell phones, I'm also talking about earbuds and earpods, whatever they call these things now, and the wearing of hoods to cover them up. I'm very concerned that our students are so distracted by their phones in the classroom that they may not be learning at the level that they otherwise could. I'm concerned that our teachers are having to decide and make a choice of whether they're going to teach the class that day or spend time trying to enforce the policy. And then I know we're all concerned about our kids and their mental health and wellness. And I think I'm concerned that having a cell phone during the day can contribute to increased anxiety and depression in our kids. So my suggestion, or what I'd like to see, is that we remove cell phones from the school. And if everybody here agrees that this is something that needs to be looked at, maybe we can do a survey of our teachers and our students to see how they feel the cell phones distract in the
No, you got that right.
and then maybe even have a committee that's made up of stakeholders, administrators, teachers, students, parents, that can help come up with a new policy if that's deemed necessary.
Yeah, I'll back Liz. I back Liz on this wholeheartedly. I think it is a distraction to the teachers. I think it's not been good. You know, we tried to incorporate cell phones into the curriculum, basically.
Has been for a long.
Yeah, and it's just been a problem. It's just been a problem. And you know, when Liz brought this up a few weeks ago, we were talking about it. I started looking around. More and more schools are taking them away and not letting them into classrooms because of exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah. So I think I know I'm very supportive of that. So.
Okay, we'll work on a survey and then get a committee together here pretty quickly.
Whatever you think is necessary. So
Okay.
I did forget one thing because she's able to attend our meeting tonight. We usually don't get to see her. She's so busy, but our article that's in the Gazette about our partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Toria, thank you. That was a fantastic article. Really showcases what we've done with our kids mentoring and being the bigs for middle school kids. Julie Violet and Debbie Bettendorf have really expanded that program throughout Chillicothe, and they're looking to grow it even more next year to maybe be able to get more bigs with elementary kids now. So Tori, we really appreciate you shining the light on that. So anything else?
I got just a couple of things, Steve. Okay. First, Sophie, thank you very much. Everything you've done for this board. I can't wait to see where you go. We did have one little tiny project I gave you. I want you to pass that to Oscar now. We'll win it again. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was I had a chance to go over to CPS and take a walk through the other day of Joe's building. And I said it in December, but our teachers are they're off the charts. We've got the best employees of probably any district. I don't care what state you want to go to. We've got the best. And I just want to make sure our folks know how much I appreciate that as a board. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you.
I thought that Zach was going to be here tonight. Zach Breath was going to give us an update tonight on the record club.
Yeah.
Wasn't that on the schedule? I was looking.
No, I know we had talked about it.
That was my fault. I forgot. I apologize. I will actually have him put something together and email something out, but I'll have him at the next meeting. I apologize. That was
No problem.
totally fell out of my head.
No, but no, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Harkness. Second by Mrs. Shoemaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.